In Hollywood, love stories come and go, but some couples prove that real love can survive the spotlight. They've faced rumors, pressure, and time, yet they're still standing, still loving, still strong. These are 10 gay celebrity couples still together in 2025, proof that true love always wins. In Hollywood, forever is rare, but for Matt Bomer and Simon Halls, it's real. Matt, the charming, soft-spoken star of White Collar and The Normal Heart, met Simon, a respected Hollywood publicist, in the early 2000s. What began quietly turned into a lifelong love story built on trust, respect, and devotion. They secretly married in 2011, long before same-sex marriage became legal across America, proving that love doesn't need permission, only courage. Together, they've raised 3 sons, balancing fame with family in a way few ever manage. Matt rarely talks about his personal life, but when he does, his words speak volumes. "I never imagined I'd get to love someone this peacefully. Simon is home." In a city known for fleeting romances and endless gossip, theirs is a love built on quiet strength, a partnership that has lasted more than 2 decades. Even in 2025, Matt and Simon remain one of Hollywood's most admired couples, a living reminder that real love doesn't need to shout to be heard. They met through television, and somehow, the cameras caught something real. Jonathan Bennett, forever remembered as Aaron Samuels from Mean Girls, crossed paths with TV host and musician James Vaughn. What began as laughter turned into something far deeper, a connection that felt like destiny. When James proposed, he didn't use just words, he wrote and performed a song just for Jonathan. Their wedding in Mexico was a celebration of everything they stand for: authenticity, joy, and visibility. Surrounded by palm trees, ocean waves, and their closest friends, they exchanged vows that felt more like poetry than promises. Now, years later, their love story continues to grow. They're not just husbands, they're partners in life, business, and advocacy, using their platform to uplift LGBTQ+ visibility and support same-sex families. Jonathan once said, "When I look at James, I don't just see love, I see freedom." Together, they've shown that being in love and being proud can exist beautifully side by side. Every love story has a beginning. Theirs began in vulnerability. Cheyenne Jackson, the Broadway and TV star known for Glee and American Horror Story, met Jason Landau in rehab. They were both in the middle of rebuilding their lives, fragile but hopeful. From that brokenness, something pure grew. They saw each other not as projects, but as people real, imperfect, and capable of love again. They married in 2014, later welcoming twins Willow and Ethan into a home filled with music, laughter, and second chances. Cheyenne once said, "He saw me at my lowest and chose to stay. That's love." Their story isn't about glamour or perfection, it's about healing, about finding light in the darkness and choosing each other, again and again. In an industry obsessed with appearances, Cheyenne and Jason remind the world that the most beautiful thing you can be is honest. Love doesn't follow rules, it writes its own. When Sarah Paulson and Holland Taylor revealed their relationship, the internet exploded with opinions. The 32-year age gap became a headline, but for them, it was never the story. Sarah, known for American Horror Story and Ratched, and Holland, a legendary actress celebrated for her timeless elegance, share a connection that goes beyond age, gender, or expectation. They met years before falling in love, 2 creative souls who recognized something rare in one another: understanding. Sarah once said, "I don't define love by gender or age, I define it by heart." They've faced criticism with humor and grace, walking red carpets hand in hand, unapologetic and radiant. In 2025, they remain one of Hollywood's most genuine and enduring couples, proof that love, when true, needs no explanation. He made us laugh as Barney Stinson in How I Met Your Mother, but Neil Patrick Harris's greatest role is being a husband and a dad. He and actor-chef David Burtka tied the knot in 2014 after more than a decade together, surrounded by friends, family, and the music of Elton John. Together, they're raising twins Gideon and Harper in a home that feels more like an adventure than a routine. From Halloween costumes to family vacations, every glimpse into their lives radiates something deeper than perfection, authenticity. Their marriage isn't built on fame, it's built on friendship, laughter, and the daily act of choosing love. Neil once said, Love is choosing the same person every single day. In a world that often treats love as a performance, Neil and David remind us that the real magic lies in the quiet moments, bedtime stories, morning coffee, shared smiles, the kind of love that doesn't fade when the spotlight does. Two Canadian souls, one actor, one comedian bound by honesty and courage. Elliot Page, who captured the world's heart in Juno and became one of Hollywood's most visible transgender voices, found something rare with Mae Martin, the brilliant creator of Feel Good. Both have lived their lives under the harsh light of fame and the even harsher scrutiny of identity. Yet together, they found something gentle, a space where they could simply be. They talk openly about mental health, gender, and authenticity, using their platforms not for attention, but for truth. Their relationship isn't about spectacle, it's about sincerity. In a world obsessed with labels, Elliot and Mae show that the most radical love is the kind that just exists quiet, patient, and real. Their connection feels like a conversation between two souls who've finally found home. Every great love story has its trials. Theirs had heartbreak and redemption. Billy Porter, the Emmy, and Tony-winning star of Pose met businessman Adam Smith in 2009. They fell hard, then fell apart. But years later, fate brought them back together, stronger and wiser. They married in 2017 inches, a small, intimate ceremony filled with laughter, tears, and gratitude. Since then, they've faced life's storms side by side, from the pressures of fame to Billy's public disclosure of living with HIV. Through it all, love remained their anchor. Billy once said, "He makes me want to be better every single day." Their marriage is more than romance. It's resilience proof that second chances can build something deeper, that forgiveness can be a form of grace. In 2025, they continue to walk together, shining brighter than ever, dressed not just in couture, but in courage. Some love stories don't need the spotlight, they bloom quietly, beautifully, in the shadows of fame. Ben Whishaw, the poetic voice behind Paddington and the soulful Q in the James Bond films, found his match in Australian composer Mark Bradshaw while working on Bright Star. Since then, their lives have intertwined in London, a home filled with books, music, and soft light. They keep their love private, not out of shame, but out of reverence. In a world that demands constant visibility, Ben and Mark choose stillness. They collaborate creatively, travel quietly, and remind us that intimacy doesn't need an audience. Their story whispers what many forget. Love doesn't have to be loud to be eternal. Sometimes it's the silence between two hearts that speaks the loudest. They never needed to confirm it because the world could feel it. From red carpet glances to music video chemistry, every look between Tessa Thompson and Janelle Monáe told a story of connection deeper than words. Both are artists who defy definition. Janelle, the visionary behind Dirty Computer; Tessa, the fearless actress from Thor and Creed. Together, they've redefined what it means to be queer, black, and unapologetically powerful. Their bond, whether romantic, spiritual, or both, radiates authenticity. Fans see them not as gossip, but as icons of liberation. In a world still learning to celebrate fluidity, they stand as living art, two constellations orbiting each other in light. Even in 2025, their names together inspire a generation that believes love should never have to hide. Laverne Cox has made history again and again as the first transgender woman nominated for an Emmy, as a fearless activist, and as a beacon of grace. But behind the cameras, there's another story, one of love and grounding. With filmmaker Jono Friedrichs, Laverne found someone who saw not the icon, but the woman. Together, they've stood hand in hand at premieres, pride marches, and fundraisers, partners in both art and purpose. Their relationship is built on equality, laughter, and a shared belief that love can be activism. Laverne once said, "We deserve love that celebrates us, not tolerates us." And she's lived by those words. In 2025, she and Jono remain side by side, radiant, resilient, and redefining what it means to love freely in a world that once told them they couldn't.